Okay, who's still cruising like it's 2005? We just did a cruise on the Caribbean Princess and spotted several travelers using cruise hacks that haven't been helpful since flip phones were cool. Stuff that might have worked back in the dial up days and now is pretty much just a waste of time and even adventure. So, in this video, we're busting 4 old school tips that just don't hold up anymore, and we're going to share with you what you should actually be doing to help you get the best bang for your buck. Alright, so first up is the overhyped cruise loyalty programs. You would think that carrying an elite card means that you're royalty on board. What it really means is you've probably just helped pay off the ship's new water slides. We cruise a lot, and we constantly run into folks that proudly tell us that they're platinum or elite or whatever the top tier is for that cruise line. They flash those cards around like they've joined some exclusive club. Carnival fans, you know what I'm talking about. People have spent a ton of money staying loyal to Carnival, and now Carnival's just yanking that away by making them pay even more just to keep their status. Sure, these programs promise some fun perks. With Princess, Platinum gets you priority check-in, early booking windows, and a bit of internet credit. Elite takes it up a notch with free laundry service, an upgraded minibar, and a specialty lounge. Other lines offer similar stuff like priority boarding, early disembarkation, or even some small onboard discounts. All of that sounds pretty nice, right? But here's the truth. Most of these perks are not that big of a deal, or they take forever to actually earn. You could spend years cruising, easily a dozen trips or more, before these benefits start to even feel worth it. Meanwhile, you're locking yourself into one cruise line's ships, itineraries, and rules. That is exactly what the cruise line wants. They count on loyalty programs to keep you hooked so you're not even thinking about trying another cruise line. But that can really limit what you see and where you go. Maybe your loyalty line doesn't have the permits that it needs to sail in Glacier Bay, so you're going to miss out on some of the best views in Alaska. Or their bigger ships can't dock in areas like Venice, so you end up in a cargo port with a long bus ride into town. We've sailed on every major cruise line out there. Sure, we have our favorites, but that never drives our decision when we pick our next cruise. We almost always start by looking at the ports and where we want to visit, then we see which lines go there. Then we pick the ship based on the kind of onboard experience that we want. So here's the honest take. Book your cruises for the ports, the experiences, and the overall value. Don't get caught up in chasing loyalty badges that you may not even cash in for another 10 years. Our next outdated tip is the idea that you should always book your excursions through the cruise line. We get why people do it. The cruise line loves to tell you that if your tour runs late, the ship will wait for you. And sure, that is usually true most of the time, but honestly, it's pretty much one of the only real advantages. Booking direct through the cruise line is almost always the most expensive way to see a port. Here's how it works. The cruise line contacts a big tour company. They hire local guides, mark up the price, and then the cruise line slaps on another markup on top of that. You could easily pay double what the exact same tour costs if you would just book it direct. And it's not just about the money. These cruise line excursions are usually huge groups. Think 40 people being herded around from stop to stop, snapping quick photos and rushing through everything just to stay on schedule. You hardly get the real feel for the local vibe. We had way more fun and saved a ton of cash by booking independent tours through sites like Shore Excursions Group or Viator. Smaller groups, more flexible schedules, and most of them guaranteed they will get you back to the ship on time. If not, then they will pay for you to get to the next cruise port at no cost to you. On our Caribbean Princess trip, we did an excursion with a company called Alaska X. They cost half of what Princess was charging for the exact same experience. Is that always the case? No, but it does happen a lot. Always check around because you could save hundreds just by booking outside of the cruise line. So bottom line, do not just default to the cruise line's excursions. Look at your options, compare prices, and make sure that you're actually getting the best deal and experience for your hard-earned money. All right, here's another outdated tip that we hear all the time. Airplane mode. People think that if you want to stay connected at sea, you have to buy the ship's Wi-Fi package. Otherwise, you'll either rack up a massive bill connecting to the ship's cell towers or be totally off the grid until the next port. That was pretty much true years ago. Everyone warned, put your phone in airplane mode or you'll come home with a bill the size of your mortgage. Honestly, that is still partially true. If your phone accidentally hooks to the ship's maritime cell network, also called cellular at sea, You could pay around, I think it was $2.05 per megabyte for data. That adds up pretty fast, especially if your phone is checking for emails or running apps in the background. You could also still pay steep rates for calls and texts. All of that just for letting your phone do what it normally does without thinking. So airplane mode is still a must, but the idea that ship's Wi-Fi is your only option, that's old thinking. Tech has changed a lot. Now you have things like eSIMs. We are about to go try a company called GigSky, which lets you load data right onto your phone before you even leave home. It works on land and even many of the ships. It can be a much cheaper option than the ship's Wi-Fi, which actually runs $15 to $30 a day and sometimes even more. Now, if you have AT&T, they now offer an international day pass that actually works on many cruise ships. Now, at the time of this video, because somebody is going to watch this after the price goes up, and then send me hate messages for getting the price wrong. Right now, it's $20 a day and gives you 500 megabytes of high-speed data plus unlimited talk to text. That could be a solid choice if you already have them. Honestly, we still use the ship's Wi-Fi to make calls or chat on WhatsApp, but for our Europe trip and then our Mediterranean cruise that we have next month, we're excited to test out GigSky and just see how it stacks up compared to the ship's Wi-Fi and to AT&T's cruise plan. We'll let you know exactly how it does, so make sure that you subscribe and hit that bell so you don't miss out on our follow-up. Bottom line is, always keep your phone in airplane mode so it doesn't sneak back onto those expensive maritime networks. But these days, you have more ways to stay connected without blowing your budget. Alright, our last big outdated tip. People still say always buy the cruise line's all-inclusive package, whether it's for drinks, Wi-Fi, or even the photos, because it's going to save you money. Well, not so fast. These packages are mostly designed to get you to spend more money. Cruise lines count on onboard spending to drive profits. That's why every earning report shows passengers shelling out 35 to 40% more than their base fare once they're on board. Take the drink package. They're priced like you'll be throwing back 15 drinks a day. If you actually hit that, please tell us your secret, because we'd be napping by noon and missing half of the ports, and honestly, we'd probably forget where our cabin is by day 2. Meanwhile, you'd be strutting around the pool deck like some legend, making friends with every bartender on board, I'm sure. Just remember, it might be nice to actually remember some of your cruise. Now, some lines try to make it easier by bundling things together. Princess has their Princess Plus and Premier packages that include Wi-Fi, drinks, and even specialty dining. Celebrity offers an always included rate with their drinks and Wi-Fi included in it. Norwegian's More at Sea promo bundles unlimited drinks, specialty dining, Wi-Fi, excursions, and even lets you bring some extra guests. But even then, you've got to be sure that you use everything to really make it worth it. We definitely bought the packages here and there just for convenience, so we don't have to think about it. But most of the time that we sit down and we run the numbers ourselves to see if it really makes it worth it. If you want a quick way to figure it out, you can check out sites like Cruisely that break down whether these bundles actually pay off, kind of give you a list of prices and stuff and a quick rundown. In our experience, paying as you go is usually the best way and maybe a little cheaper. You can also check out one of these videos here or here, and depending on the cruise line you're going on, and it'll help give you an idea of the cost. So yeah, don't buy the drink package just because of FOMO. Figure out what you'll realistically use, compare it to the cost of paying per drink or per day, and then decide if it actually makes sense for you. Your wallet might thank you later. Alright, that's it for today's rundown of outdated cruise tips that you can safely toss overboard. Hopefully this helps you cruise smarter, save some cash, and have way more fun on your next adventure. Now, if you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and don't forget to ring that bell so you don't miss out on any of our upcoming videos. We've got that Europe and Mediterranean trip with GigSky testing coming up, plus a bunch more cruise content that you don't want to miss out on. As always, keep wondering, exploring, and discovering.